We've officially reached the business end of the 2025 BNP Paribas Open as all the fourth round matchups are set. As indicated by the title, some players like Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek, and Elena Rybakina face significant challenges in this upcoming round. Meanwhile, on the men's side, where a lot of big names were sent packing, the title favorite Carlos Alcaraz looks in command to pull off the hat trick in tennis paradise. Hey, I'm Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you have not yet already, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are notified whenever I post more Indian Wells updates. All eyes were on Coco Gauff on day 6 of Indian Wells to see how she would recover from her rough opening round victory where she served 21 double faults. A few people thought Maria Sakkari would send her packing. Low-key, I might have been one of those people, and that's because the Greek woman, she first had a 5-3 head-to-head advantage over Gauff. She had been playing better, at least in the round, their opening round matches, comparing their two opening round performances, and Sakkari also won their last meeting, which was at Indian Wells in the semifinals last year. But the ranking disparity between the two showed today, as Coco was the more solid of the two, taking a 7-6, 6-2 victory. This was definitely better than Gauff's opening round match. She was more solid from the ground, and she played a little bit more within herself, which I thought was very smart considering how the windier conditions made it a little bit tough out there, and Sakkari herself was pretty error prone. I think that the double faults weren't as much of an issue, especially compared to the round prior, at least until the final game where Coco hit 6 double faults in this game alone. That's kind of ridiculous, but to be honest, it says a little bit more about Sakkari that she wasn't able to take advantage and capitalize to win that game. But back to Coco, really I think the whole double faulting like that in the final game of the match, it's just all mental. She's mentally tough for sure, but she definitely still has some vulnerabilities. And I think Coco's toughest whenever she's down. She's such a strong competitor. She'll never give up in a match. But oftentimes, she struggles whenever she has the edge and whenever it's time for her to close out the matches. Coco fans have noticed for a long time that she can sometimes struggle to close things out. It can be a little bit of a rough patch for her, especially whenever she doesn't have as many match wins behind her. It can be a bloodbath for her to get over the line like it was for her today. And I think that's the biggest thing that she needs to work through with her new sports psychologist. Still, I think that Gauff will need to play better in her next match against Belinda Bencic than she did today, as Bencic looks very good right now. The Swiss woman has beaten 2 top 20 players already in tennis paradise. First, Amanda Anisimova, and then Diana Schneider. Belinda, honestly, comparing the form, she looks the better of the two compared to Coco the tournament. But Coco, she just knows how to win these matches. Simple as that. She always knows how to find a way, it seems, whenever her back is against the wall, and just problem solves really like no other. I think that Gauff will be favored in this one if it does go the distance. Coco, of course, she came out on top in a 3-setter when they played just a few months ago at the Australian Open in the round of 16, where Bencic, she also kind of faded away a little bit physically in the end. I do think Belinda would put up more of a fight if this one does go the distance, because I feel like she's built up better stamina since that AO match, and I think she's still relatively early or new in her comeback back in Melbourne, and now she has more, match reps as far as playing these tough 3-setters. She grinded out a few of them when she won the Abu Dhabi 500, so I think, it's going to go through regardless. And as far as who's going to win, I picked Bencic to win this match when I predicted they would happen, before the tournament even happened. So I guess I'm going to stick with Belinda winning it. But I feel like she can definitely play herself into form and make a 3rd consecutive quarterfinal here at Indian Wells. The winner of Gauff Bencic will play the victor of Madison Keys and Donna Vekic. Maddie made life harder for herself than it needed to be against Elisa Mertens, who she led 6-2, 3-love, and she had 4 match points over in the second set before being pushed to 3 sets and then clinching a 6-2, 6-7, 6-4 win over the Belgian. Keys now plays Donna Vekic, who looked very good in a 7-6, 6-1 win over Emma Navarro. Keys and Vekic haven't played since 2019, so it's been a while. It'll be interesting to see how this matchup unfolds, these two being really big hitters on the tour. An interesting stat is that Vekic has actually never made a WTA 1000 quarterfinal in her career, so perhaps Keys might have the edge, because I feel like that stat might be playing on Donna in the Croats' mind. And plus, of course, Keys would have the home crowd advantage, but Vekic, she dealt with the home crowd not being in her favor against Navarro. So what's to say she can't do it the same thing against Maddie here? Looking all the way at the top of this women's draw, Aryna Sabalenka made relatively quick work of her round 3 opponent, Lucia Bronzetti, winning it 6-1, 6-2. Sabalenka will be the heavy favorite to make the quarterfinals as she faces lucky loser Sonia Kartal next. The winner of Sabalenka Kartal will face the victor of Jasmine Paolini and Lumila Samsonova, both of whom battled in 3 sets against Christian and Kazatkina respectively. Now looking ahead to day 7, all 4 women's 4th round matches promise to deliver. First talking about Elena Rybakina against Mira Andreeva, which I think would be the most intriguing out of all these 4 matchups. Both women have looked good so far, especially in their 3rd round matches, where Rybakina, she beat Bolter 6-love, 7-5, whereas Andreeva, she demolished Clara Towson in a rematch of the Dubai final, only dropping 3 total games. Andreeva won their last meeting, which was in the Dubai semifinals, in 3 tight sets, and Mira is on an 8-match winning streak, so maybe she might have the edge there. I feel like also Andreeva is a better big match player than Rybakina, although Rybakina, she tends to do okay up until, the semifinal round. So this not being a semifinal, I think, helps her. For me, I feel like this would be a little bit of a toss-up. I think that really Rybakina should win this match. But again, the slight edge might be in Andreeva's favor, considering how she's won a lot more of these kind of tougher matches, and she has the edge knowing that she just beat Rybakina. So with her having a lot of confidence, that might be the deciding factor to push her over the edge in this match. Next, we have Jessica Pegula against Elena Svitolina. Pegula leads the head-to-head 5-2, and she won their last meeting in Doha not too long ago by a score of 3-6. Svitolina, though, she looks good. She looked good thus far in Tennis Paradise. She beat Danielle Collins 2-4 in the 3rd round, but I think that Pegula has looked a little bit better, and also with the crowd being a little bit behind her, I think I'll have her taking this one in 3 sets. Then Chinwen Zhang against Marta Kostyuk. The head-to-head is tied 1 apiece, and Kostyuk won their last meeting from the Stuttgart 2nd round in 2024. This will be a big match for Zhang, I feel, as she'll be seeking her first quarterfinal of the year and also her first top 30 win of 2025. Kostyuk, though, I think might be the slight favorite because I feel like she's been playing a bit better tennis as of late, so I think I'll have her winning this one in 3 sets. Then last but not least, we have Iga Swiatek against Karolina Muchova. Iga has looked very, very good thus far. She's served a few bagels and has only lost 4 games total in her opening 2 matches. She leads the head-to-head against the Czech women's 3-1, and she won their last meeting 6-3, 6-4 in the United Cup round robin stage early at the top of the year. These two always have a competitive match, but I think that Iga just has more moxie to get her through. That's always the case. Iga just has that edge in getting her through. And Iga also, I feel like she loves the conditions in the desert more. And I favor her to move through in 2 relatively tight sets. Now, moving over to the men's, 2-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz looks very, very good right now. And I feel like he's solidified himself as the man to beat this tournament, after dominating Denis Shapovalov 6-2, 6-4. And Denis, I expected this to be a much tougher match than what the scoreline entailed, considering how the Canadian, he is coming off a title in the Dallas 500 in February, and he has won he had won his last 9 of 10 matches, but Carlos was just way too good today, and I was very impressed by how he kept his foot on Shapovalov's neck and didn't make this unnecessarily difficult for himself. Next for Carlitos is Grigor Dimitrov, who outlasted Galmon Fils in a really great, thrilling 3-setter. If he wins his next match, Carlos will likely play Alex de Minaur, who has looked dangerous in Indian Wells, as he just crushed Hubie Hurkacz 4-love, and the Aussie has only lost 8 games in his first 2 matches in Tennis Paradise. I think the 4th round match to watch in the bottom half will be Jack Draper against 2022 champion Taylor Fritz, although the battle between the 2 young Americans, Brandon Nakashima and Ben Shelton, will surely deliver too. The top half has a few interesting popcorn 4th round matches as well. First, there's Stefanos Tsitsipas against Holger Rune. Rune has a 3-0 head-to-head advantage over the Greek men, but Steph will be the favorite here for sure, as he's on a 7-match win streak thanks to that great racket change, and he's also just been playing better than the Dane has been recently. Then I think even bigger to me will be Tommy Paul against Daniil Medvedev. This would be a rematch of last year's semifinals, which Medvedev came out on top in a 3-setter. Both guys have been playing pretty well this tournament, but I think I might favor Paul to advance through, but it's going to be a really good one regardless of what happens, I already know. On the flip side, our other 2 top half round of 16 matches. Both feature men who will be seeking their first ATP 1000 quarterfinals. Marcos Giron, who upset Casper Ruud in the second round, will take on Artur Fils, who outlasted Lorenzo Musetti 3-6, 7-6, 6-3 in the third round. Now, the fourth round, absolutely nobody expected, is Talon Griekspoor, who toppled top seed Zverev in the second round, who will be taking on Yusuke Watanuki. The 349th ranked qualifier Watanuki upset 16th seed Frances Tiafoe 6-4, 7-6 to reach his maiden ATP 1000 round of 16. Watanuki is playing on a protected ranking after missing 6 months of action last year due to tendonitis in his knee. There's also some interesting lore in this matchup with him and Tiafoe because Watanuki is being coached currently by Wayne Ferreira, who formerly worked with Tiafoe and helped him crack the top 10 in 2023. Clearly, that gave Yusuke a bit of an edge here as he played the perfect match. The 26-year-old probably played the match of his life, really, coming up with some unbelievable shot making and garnering a lot of support from the American crowd, whom you thought would be 100% behind Big Foe. But Watanuki is really just that likable. Aside from his smiley personality, he also showed great sportsmanship, as when Tiafoe received a time violation early in the first set, the Japanese man stepped in and told the umpire that he hadn't been ready to receive himself, causing the umpire to then cancel Tiafoe's time violation. Watanuki has also risen 136 spots from this run, and if he beats Griekspoor, he'll rise even higher to around 160 in the world. Now, I gotta talk about Frances Tiafoe. This will be a tough loss for him, of course, playing somebody. Even though Watanuki played so well, this was a great opportunity for him to go deep in this tournament, as he was the highest seed remaining in his little section, which formerly belonged to Alexander Zverev. Frances is 5-5 on the season, and he has lost his second match in every tournament that he has played. He has not won back-to-back matches, actually, since his run to the U.S. Open semifinals last year. So, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of carnage from that match where he led Taylor Fritz 2-1, but I don't know. Definitely a rough period for Big Foe. I just think he's missing that edge. I do have to give him props, though, from his comeback in the opening round against Demir Jumer, where he came back from 1-5 down, saved a couple of set points. Great effort from him, but he's just missing out on big opportunities to do well at the Australian Open. He probably had a great chance to make the quarterfinals at least, probably the semifinals, but lost a match he really should have won. And now here, this was, again, a great opportunity for him to make the quarterfinals, but just couldn't do it, alas. And then ending this video talking about possibly the most exciting tiebreak of the day. It's doubles between Taylor Townsend and Karina Siniakova, and then Laura Siegemund and Beatriz Haddad-Maia. After splitting the opening 2 sets, Townsend and Siniakova fought back from 1-5 and 3-6 down in the deciding 10-point tiebreaker, coming up with some incredible shot making. And then once they clinched the deal, they and the crowd went absolutely wild. They're definitely proving Riley Opelka wrong about the doubles doesn't sell tickets and nobody cares about doubles, because they had a lot more fanfare and crowd support compared to Riley's opening round match. Just saying. Anyways, that is all I have for this video for my latest Indian Wells recap, and let me know your thoughts on whether you think if Coco will overcome Bencic, and then also will Rybakina and Swiatek also progress past their respective round of 16 matches. And then, can anyone stop Alcaraz on the men's side? If so, who do you think has the best shot? Comment below. Again, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are notified whenever I post more Indian Wells updates. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see you all next time here on Christian's Court.